Big people beat up little people, a phrase famously uttered by Philadelphia Eagles head coach Chip Kelly when he first took over the reins a year ago. Now, this guy says what he means and does what he says because the roster is slowly but surely turning over in the favor of big people over little people. Now myself, I prefer the Allen Iverson, the David vs. Goliath. I like that story. However, Chip Kelly knows what he's doing and we got to trust him. How does that apply to the wide receiver position? Well, we just let go a 1,300-yard receiver in Deshaun Jackson, and now the Eagles are looking at Indiana wide receiver Cody Latimer as a possible draft pick at 22. He's projected at maybe the 34th pick, but of course, despite having some needs on defense, the Eagles are going to pick whoever's on their draft board, the best player they feel at that moment. Now, Cody Latimer fits Chip Kelly's system and his philosophy of big versus small, and strong and fast. As far as Eagles receivers having blazing speed, having 4.3 40s, I don't think it's as important because the defense is always going to be out of shape or feel like they are when they're playing the Eagles' fast-paced offense. They snap the ball at the very first possible chance, and they don't let the other team get its legs underneath them. So they're always going to be faster than the other team. You see Riley Cooper running away from people, but he certainly is big and has leverage and can block downfield. And Cody Latimer of Indiana, who last year in 2013 had 72 catches for 1,096 yards, could be an interesting addition to the Eagles' offense. In fact, I love Jeremy Maclin, and I think he's going to surely boost the Eagles' offense should his knee be okay. However, when did the Eagles last have their greatest success at the wide receiver position? They had a great running back like Westbrook, as we do with LaShawn McCoy. However, we had Terrell Owens on the other side of Todd Pinkston. Well, you get big receivers on both sides. Look what happened for Todd Pinkston. He had the best year of his career on the other side of Terrell Owens. I just think that Chip Kelly wants to flood the field with big guys who could block downfield, make space for LaShawn McCoy and themselves, out-leverage people because they're always going to be in space because he knows unless the rest of the NFL adopts Chip Kelly's training program, protein shakes, and early curfews, speed is not going to be an issue for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. As far as the Eagles' defense, obviously they need to improve the linebacker position. Maybe they trade up and go there if they don't go with a wide receiver. In other NFL news, the Cleveland Browns bring in Vince Young, the 30-year-old quarterback who hasn't played since 2011 with the Eagles, mind you. Last year he played valiantly for the Packers in preseason but was cut. And that got me to thinking, are these guys being used sometimes? If the Browns are interested in taking a quarterback and they don't want to show their hand, it makes sense that they may bring in free agents, as the Giants are doing right now. The Giants have 5 quarterbacks on their roster. They just signed another one today who I've almost never heard of, some backup from Tennessee, after signing Josh Freeman, who I doubt will ever take a snap for the New York Giants. They have Nassib last year, their high draft choice, well not high, but high enough, to back up Eli Manning, who will be just fine. So these teams, the Giants who might want a quarterback of the future after Eli, and the Browns who desperately need a really good franchise quarterback, they're signing these free agent quarterbacks and maybe just using them to hide the fact that that's what they plan to do. But I digress. In summation, the Philadelphia Eagles may sign wide receiver Cody Latimer from Indiana. He worked out with the team on Friday. 3 Eagles staff members came up and had a separate conversation with him, which is rare in one of these workouts. They're really not that personalized. And the Eagles need to replace Deshaun Jackson. Vince Young, could he make the Browns? We'll see. And the NFL draft begins Thursday night, I believe at 8 o'clock. So get your popcorn ready, as Terrell Owens once said.